Hi everyone. So I wanted to make this video because there was a little incident in my son's school this morning. He did not want to go to school, and he screamed bloody murder until the teacher and his BII had to come out and try to help me get him through the gate, and it's quite the scene. um, but so I ended up we kind of tried. We tried to. I even called his older brother. He was in the van, so he came and was trying to pep talk him into going into the school. He just was protesting that he just didn't want to go to school, didn't want to go to school. So it got me thinking, like, I do want to share some personal stories about my son, and then my thought process just starts to turn and turn, and there's a lot of things that I do think like I should start sharing. I'm a little reluctant to very, very openly talk about autism and ABA strategies because I'm just not a good speaker, and I don't know if I'll say things the way I really truly believe, or the way they really truly are for me. So I'm just scared simply because I can't speak on camera. So when I speak in person, like when I have clients, we can go completely back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And if there's something that um, they want me to elaborate on, then I will. And sometimes I'll say something, and then I'll tell them, I'm so sorry. You know what? Sorry, that was my old thought process. Now, like, this is the way I see things. So sometimes I see my videos and I'm like, dang, like, I don't really think like that anymore. But I either just did not edit it. I already put it on YouTube. I watched them once before, but like sometimes I don't catch things until I see them again on my YouTube, and then I'm like, like, I don't know if I really meant that. But and it's not that I'm lying. It's like I said, that I'm just so nervous. But I thought, you know what, just do it, just do it. First of all, I want to say that I put some makeup on and I comb my hair differently today because it's my husband's birthday, and I went to go take him a cake to his job, and I just wanted him to see me sort of fixed up. But so yeah. But anyways, okay, so my son did not want to go into school. Um, at the end, I ended up bringing him back home. When I saw a little tear in his eye, I couldn't take it anymore. I thanked everyone for trying. I know that I do feel in my heart that if we would have made it through those gates, he would have been okay. I do trust his teacher. We have a great relationship now. I do trust his BII. The BID just recently was just wonderful to me, wonderful. And then Miss B, his the teacher's assistant. Everyone tries really hard for my son. So I do know that I'll leave him like in good hands. I know I've had problems with the school, but thank God none of that exists anymore. And see, so I wanted to, you know, tell you guys, one of the things that like I always try to do for like our clients is I I want them to know that we have their back, right? Like I recently had a client, and we were getting her ready for an IEP, and I always try to tell parents, please don't think that I'm not here to have your back 100%, but I don't want anger to have any place in this equation. The main goal is your child and his well-being, and I want to make sure that we first give our kindness to anyone at the IEP table, because it's his teacher's going to be there, and every other therapist was going to provide services. So I don't if I'm going to give advice to anyone, the advice is, I know that we're supposed to have our guard up, which my guard, I think, is naturally always up. I'm so traumatized. I'm so traumatized. So there's a big part of me that has my guard up. But not but I know that, human egos, or even like for me, let's say fear can sometimes scramble, you know, my thought process. So I'll say, let's have our guard up, but let's not like off the bat start talking back. Let's not. If we have questions, let's please ask them calmly with kindness. And even then, when they kind of sort of sometimes, like, by they I mean anyone in the IEP team. So let's say we're talking about just like an IEP meeting. We're in an IEP meeting, and it's the resource specialist, the school psychologist, the OT specialist, the speech therapist, and the assistant principal, and then me and parent. What I want is for all of us to be on the same page as far as what's best for the child. And being on the same page means having respect for each other, all of us. All of us, all of us, all of us. I sorry, my dad told me to stop doing that where I just repeat stuff over and over, or stuff over. So anyways, so I always try to be extremely mega kind. I'm not faking my kindness. I get really excited to meet an IEP team. I do. I get really excited. I love the reports that they bring to the table. These are the people that are telling me where this child is, this child's strengths, this child's weaknesses, this child's needs. So I want there to always be like a nice, positive relationship. So yeah, so I always introduce myself politely, and I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I'll hear their assessments, and I'll hear their recommendations, and that's where it gets a little shaky. So I'll tell you why. We're hearing all these therapists, they just observed this child. I I've let's just say they observed the child for 10 hours. They spread it out, right? 10 hours. Sometimes in the class setting, sometimes in a private room. Sometimes parents are not in agreement with the assessment. Why? Sometimes it's because they feel in their hearts like they know their child best, and they feel like that assessment wasn't long enough. Like, if you were to have been with my child long enough, you know that he or she can do what you're stating the child cannot do. And I understand that. I remember when the resource specialist for my son and the school psychologist evaluated my child, and they approached me once. So I'm going to say a story, okay? It's very personal to me. First off, these are the two people that in the story of my life with my son, they hold a very beautiful place in my heart. A very, very, very strong, beautiful place in my heart. And I will make sure that one day I do whatever it takes to thank them. I've thanked them verbally, and I've thanked them with like giving them chocolates every holiday, but I want to make sure that one day they know like that what they did for me was just absolutely beautiful for me and my son. But here goes a not so beautiful story. For one, we super had problems. I'm sorry, Mr. M, and I'm sorry, Miss M. I was very blind to what autism was. I was very blind. My son was able to say the ABCs. He could identify numbers. He can identify at this time, right? At this time, I think he was 5 years old. He was able to identify some words. He was not able to express feelings to me, emotions. He at that time was would not express if he was cold or hot or hungry or tired or sick. So if I was confused, I was very confused. I thought autism was temporary, like he'll have it the first few years and then the therapist me lo van a acomodar and we're good. We're good. He's smart. As long as I see him learning, to me, he has the ability to learn everything, just like everybody else. I had him in Gen Ed because, as I've stated in some of my videos, I visited the special ed class settings and they were horrible. To me, they were horrible, okay? To me. To the district, they were gold. They were doing the right thing. Yes, you can't place all these children in one room with not with limited resources. Yeah, the teacher's gonna struggle, but to me it was a horror show. Nothing that I would ever want my son in. And then I was lied to also. The assistant principal informed me that he had to be in gen ed for a while until the teacher noticed anything that would then prompt her to give a referral stating this child needs to be evaluated. She told me that was the only route. So I was there with my son. I was never going to just let him walk in through those doors without me. I filled out the volunteer application and I was there 24/7 with my son. 24/7. His teacher was the most incredible teacher ever, ever, ever. I'm so grateful for this teacher. We became really good friends. I became almost like her assistant, like the teacher's assistant. So she was very supportive. But anyways, Mr. M and Miss M, somehow we survived that year. Barely. Actually, not really. I ended up pulling him out of school because when they told me that the only route was that special day program, I freaked and I thought, my goal is to destroy you guys. I'm pulling my son out of school and I'm gonna see what I do with him. I don't know what to do with him, but I'm gonna see. And I lost my mind. It just was the most horrible feeling in the world. Mr. M and Miss M approached me one day while I was dropping off my other two kids because they're attending that school, and I would take my Benny with me, just holding his little hand. They already knew him because they were the ones that evaluated him from the very beginning. And no, I'm sorry, evaluated him from the very beginning of when I finally won the evaluation. So they were the ones that were there with me at the beginning of my journey. I'll call it that, at the beginning of my journey, my special education journey with my son. They were the frontline people, the two frontline people, them and the assistant principal, which I also love dearly. So we became really good friends, but first we were like really not good friends. I didn't believe them much when they'd assess my son, and I just felt like I guess I was not explained things well enough, or I was really just blinded, or I don't know. What is it? Like, you really do think in your heart that your child can do more than what they're saying that your child can do. And you hear these assessments and it's a lot of this child is able to, and then this child is unable to, and they'll explain everything. Like, upon being tested, this child was unable to do this. So it was really challenging. They convinced me to enroll him back into the school, and I did. And they promised me they'd be there for me, and they were there for me. They didn't have to. Benny, let's be quiet, coyotes. But give me 1 second. they're they followed through with their word. I enrolled him in school again, and by this time he was, I believe, in the third grade gen ed. And again, I just want to say, just the fear, okay, of putting him in special ed. I just needed to figure out what I was going to do. I didn't know what I was going to do with my son, so I just would place him in gen ed because I why let me try to remember why would I guess it was the least scary thing. So I the teacher, now his third grade teacher that he was with, was awesome. He was awesome. We had a good communication, and I had good communication with Miss M and Mr. M. I did go check on him, pull him out for services, and I felt like okay. And still in my mind I thought, I'm gonna start a revolution. I'm going to destroy the LAUSD, and I'm going to set everybody free, and we're going to create, these alternate special education settings. And so, but okay, so at one point they approached me, Mom, we need to talk. Okay. So we were running assessments again on your son. We had already agreed to that. You always have to sign and agree, and I knew that they were doing another assessment on my son. And we want to tell you, okay, so I'm just gonna make up what's called paraphrase. I don't remember word for word, but basically they were trying to tell me something that I just was not understanding. They said, Benny, Benny, bájale, baby, please.
Hurry up!
Thank you so much, bud.
Hurry up!
So, I they were they would ask me, like, if we bring out 5 cars, we put them in front of your son, and we ask him to pull 3, will he? And I thought, like, yeah, I think he would. Well, we tested him, and he was not able to, like, pull 3. Well, like, where did you test him? We tested him in the classroom. Okay. Like, how many times did you try that? We tried it a few times. That's him. um okay, well, like, what does that mean? All right, why are you telling me this? Well, we tested him on they started telling me all kinds of tests. I don't remember, but I remember that one, the one about the cars. And so they were like, we tested him on this, and he was unable to, so then Miss M says, I want to tell you a story about my friend. I have a friend that has a child under the spectrum, and her child not only has ASD, autism spectrum disorder, but he also has a learning disability. So I'm laughing now, but man, that was rock bottom part 2. So I said, okay, what's a learning disability? So again, I'm not gonna say that these are the words that they said, but from what I understood, from either my ears just went completely blank, or, like, you know how you hear that little ringing in your ear, or I don't know, some kind of, my body went into some kind of defense mechanism where I was probably just, I remember everything getting blurry, like really blurry around me, like if yeah, I was in a dream, like in a nightmare, and I couldn't really hear them anymore. But I said, okay, what's a learning disability? And are you saying that that's a that's what my son has? A learning disability is basically like they stop learning at a certain age. So based off tests, your son is at a age of 3, at an age of 3 years old, and based off that, there's a chance that he won't be able to learn past what a 3-year-old can.
Let's make campfire.
All right, buddy. We'll make one right now, okay? First, I have to do this video, and then we can make a campfire. So, man, after that, I don't even remember how I got home. Before I got home, Mr. M was like, you have to start like coming to realizations, and how could you do this to your son, to have him in gen ed? And I like, oh man, I just started firing back. Like, we started yelling at each other, and I told him, I don't know what you're right, I don't know what I'm doing, but you guys are not giving me enough cards to play. Like, I'm playing the cards I've been dealt, and the school has some crummy deals. Like, what do you want from me? Like, what do you want? But it was like we're like yelling. I told him, I'm trying my best. Like, I'm trying my best. He said, it breaks my heart to see him in gen ed. He's not doing anything. Like, he's getting so bored now that he just started like pinching himself. And so I'm so grateful for that conversation now. I'm very apologetic for my thought process. So, Mr. M and Miss M, if you're watching this video, if you ever watch it, and you know that I'm talking about you guys, I want to say I'm sorry. I'm sorry from the bottom of my heart. I did not know what ASD was. I did not know what a learning disability was. I didn't know anything about anything. And yes, I did think ASD was like a temporary thing. Benny, buddy, can you give me a minute, bud? Let's go to brother's room for a little while, okay? I'm just gonna make this quick video, okay, bud? So, bless you. So, I'm glad that I went through that experience, because I got to I can understand parents when, or anybody, around this child, when they feel like, hey, this child is smart, so don't say that he or she is not. I'm so sorry. In case I start the video from here, I asked Benny if he could go to brother's room. Sorry. Sometimes, like, he'll, play the same videos over and over and over. I know he wants my attention. He didn't go to school today because he had a behavior this morning. But anyways, so where was I? Dang, where was I? So I'm grateful that I got to feel that. It took me down completely. I don't remember how I got home, but when I did, I sat down, and for the remainder of the day, I just sat in one spot, just numb, completely numb. That was a brutal realization, for them to tell me that your son has a poison so badly in his brain that he's not going to be able to learn past 3 years old. Like, wow. So I wanted to share that because I understand when a parent when we're not in the same page. For example, so this morning when it was me, his BII, the teacher, and the teacher's assistant, and he was like trying to escape. So he was trying to go towards our van, and I was kind of bear hugging him, holding onto the fence. And so we were struggling like that. So the teacher was like, here, I'll place my hand and I'll grab him. As long as we get him through the fence, then he's fine. Like, once you leave, he's fine. I do believe them. I do. If ever you guys don't believe that, that's okay. That's very okay. I never mind when a parent is like, Miss Cynthia, I don't 100% feel like he is okay once he goes through those doors. Let's say, at the center, I'll say that's okay. I don't want you to be suffering. Like, you should not 1,000,000% believe me, because I don't want to condition you to believe everyone who is nice or acts nice. I'm saying acts like whoever presents themselves to be, let's say, just like me, right? I'm always like, I got your kid, come on, let's go, your kid's gonna be awesome with me, don't worry. Let's say somebody learn how to replicate those behaviors, but as soon as they hit those doors, they're not a very calm, you know, behavior therapist or teacher's assistant. I so you really have to really know, have conversations with these people, and that's why relationships are important. That's why, like, I don't want to enter an IEP with the parent and immediately, like, well, what does that mean? Well, what does that mean? Well, what does that mean? Like, I don't want to do that. If ever I have done that, sorry, but I it we have to have a good relationship. There was people passing by while we were bear hugging my son. It's like four of us bear hugging him. Well, it was just me and the teacher, but like there were surrounding people. So it looks horrible. It looks like if we're torturing my son because he's like crying, trying to escape. But I know that it's not horrible because that's my boy and I love him, and I'm the one that has him. I know if the teacher grabs him and takes him inside, I know in my heart that it's gonna be out of like super care, super care. I know that exists because it exists in me. It 1,000,000% exists in me. So it's possible that somebody can kind of rough handle your kid and let it be, and it's okay. You know what I mean? I've been given permission to grab kids. Like, you get them however you want. Like, I can't with this kid anymore. And it's funny, I've even been asked to be rougher. Like, Miss Sin, can you be a little stronger? Like, you're a little too soft. And once parents give me that permission, and the funniest, kindest way, I get a little rougher with the kids. And these children, the first thing I always want to do is gain their trust. I want them to completely love me. That way, if, let's say, I have to physically grab them and be like, okay, that's it, come on, let's go, we're going to the living room now, like, already tried asking, and mom is like, get him out of this kitchen, like, no, I'm not gonna give him access to whatever, like, I'll, in a funny way, grab him, and we'll wrestle, and it's funny, it's cute, it's not, I don't do it with frustration, I don't do it with, bad intentions. I'll just do it because, let's say, just mom was like, that's it, I can't anymore, get him out, and he's light enough for me to carry him and not him or her not hurt him. So the people that were there with my son love him to death, me included, and there was people passing by in cars honking at us. So that's what kind of is prompting me to make this video, is that I thought to myself, yeah, I probably should start talking about what something looks like versus what it can be, versus how a parent could feel, versus if that parent is on, I don't want to say on the right track on that thought process. Everyone's on the right track. You think something, to me, that's okay. That's a track. You know what I mean? There's no right or wrong for me. Personally, for me, I don't believe in right or wrong. So, Benny, let's lower it a little bit, please.
Right now. But only right now.
All right, but let's lower that a little bit, okay?
Right now.
So I keep thinking, like, maybe I should already start talking about, those kinds of things to see if I can make a good enough video. So things can look a certain way, and it could be it it could be what your gut tells you, or it could not. So for me, I always, the first thing I want to do is I want parents to get a gut feeling with me. My first goal is I want parents to get a gut feeling and get to know me. And it's hard for me to say trust me because I don't want to condition anyone to, you know, trust somebody who might replicate me but is, is a hidden narcissist or something. So, but I want parents to feel comfortable with me. So I'll always tell parents, you tell me when you've had enough because I'll explain to you what ABA can be, and I'm going to try to explain what autism can be. I want parents to be comfortable with me because in the very beginning, I do feel none of us know each other. In the beginning of a child's journey, let's talk about the beginning of a child's journey. I'll talk about the school setting and then we'll talk about like ABA at home. In the beginning of the child's journey, let's say mom and dad have no idea what autism is. Does the possibility exist that they think that this is something that can be cured or healed? Do they know a different version of this child? Do they love this child more than anyone else? Does it exist that somebody else can love your child almost as much as you do? Will you be lucky enough to have that person be the person that walks through your doors? Do these companies really care? Is their goal to just collect really good looking data, or is their goal to teach this child new skills and have this child live a good life? What does that even look like? At what cost teaching new skills? What does a good life look like? All of these questions, I want to get to all of them, and that's what I'm gonna start doing. I wish I could have wrote those down. Dang, those are. But let's just say, okay, what is autism? Autism, I'll tell you from everything I'm collecting, from everything I'm seeing, from everything I'm learning, and I'm with these children a lot. I'm with these families a lot. This has become my entire existence. So, but I'm my own person, right? I don't want to condition anyone to believe what autism is versus what I believe it is. So, if I say something and you're like, "No, I don't think that's true." That's okay. We all have freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of thinking whatever it is that we want to think, and we all are in our own paths, right? So, I'll just say my version of this. Autism to me is neural pathways that were supposed to connect properly in order for us to function in this world, okay? According to a neurologist, those neural pathways choked, crashed, died. They crisscrossed, and now this human being has rewired neural pathways, okay, in his brain, his or her brain. There's no filters to sensory. There's their vocal cords are crimped. Their neural pathways for vocalizing are crimped, rewired. Their the sensors for, or the communication, the transmitters for, let's say, touch is crisscrossed. Things make them uncomfortable. And then emotions. So that's just all mechanical body stuff, right? Is it safe to say that all those things are like mechanical body stuff, right? Like, I touch this and I'm supposed to feel, I don't know what I'm supposed to feel, but let's just say I do this and it doesn't bother me that much, and my brain is in charge of this, not either not bothering me too much, or even me obtaining some kind of stimulation for it, right? Like, I like how this feels. Somebody under the spectrum, this can be torture if that person either doesn't have the proper transmitters, the proper filters. This can be torture. So now they're like, like, I don't want this to happen, or I don't like this to happen, or I don't like this of myself, like. And so then they have feelings, right? So I feel overstimulated because of that. I feel angry because I have to feel this. Is it safe to say that we all feel anger? Is it safe to say that we all have anger when, either something doesn't go our way, or we don't obtain stimulation? If everybody at this point is in agreement with that, yes, it's safe to say that. Yeah, I'm angry when I don't get this. I'm hangry, right? People get hangry. If I don't eat, my body starts to feel something. So for a child or an adult under the spectrum, from my observation, if they, bye Mija, love you so much, have a great day at work, love you. From, like, for me, from what I'm observing, and if some children, some adults don't get the thing, either a tangible item or a positive reinforcement that gives them a wonderful feeling, if they don't obtain that, they can engage in verbal protest, in physical aggression. And what are they trying to say when they're physically aggressive or they're verbally protesting? They have tantrum behaviors. They start property destruction. Like, they're not vocalizing how they feel, but they're showing us in behaviors. Is it safe to say that we neurotypical humans feel the same thing, but maybe have been taught to manage those behaviors, to replace those behaviors, or to just, like, hold it in and not not show our behaviors? I personally think, yeah, like, okay, I think you and I, children under the spectrum or adults under the spectrum, are a lot alike. I'm a high emotional human being. I have high emotions, whether it's sadness, happiness, anger. Well, let's just say those. I think it's safe to say that I feel them about 1,000 times more than people around me. I don't see a lot of people around me crying as much as I do. I cry the minimum, like minimum on a slow crying day, like 3 times. On a slow day, 3 times. Everything makes me cry. Everything makes me cry. And now I'm in a point in my life where I'm accepting myself like that, so I just like let it rip. If at some point in my life people knew me as not a person who cried, it's because I was taught by society that that's an exaggeration, that I'm doing too much, that I was a burden to others. So I would not cry. But emotions in me were strong. So the emotions are there in your body. You know what I mean? Like they're there, and it's just a question of how they how you release that pressure. And so so that's what I think autism is. I think autism is a human being that does not have the filters in their neural pathways to filter emotions, or there's a lot more, right? This is just what my body is allowing me to say in this camera, only because there's a camera here. But if there was not a camera here, if I was talking to a person, I'd say a whole lot more. So I'm trying my best. I'm sorry. So there's no filter, and but they're feeling something inside, right? And so they're expressing it freely. They're expressing it freely. If they're angry, they're going to show you that they're angry. They'll bite, kick, scream, you know, they'll throw something. They're showing that they're angry. How can a person, what does it look like to people, to neurotypical people, right? What does that look like? I can't speak for society. Society, to me, we're not really good friends. Those rules, I don't know them quite well. When I was conditioned to follow them, I didn't like it. And so, and now at this age, you know what I mean? I'm about to be 42 years old. I don't know. I don't know what a 42-year-old neurotypical person's supposed to do, out with society. It's really hard for me to be in society. It seems like a lot of what I am is no. So so I can't speak for society, but is it safe to say that society will not like it? That humans won't like that this child bites them, kicks them, hurts them, breaks their stuff? Well, me, you could bite me 1,000 times. You can break whatever you want. You can scream at me. I understand you. You're feeling something really, really strong, and I'm here to help you. What I feel is pain. I feel pain because I think, dang, you poor thing. Like, it must be a lot what you're feeling, and I'm supposed to be offended by that? Like, I obviously know that you're a person under the spectrum. I obviously know that there's that, chip missing, or it's crimped, or it's disabled. And I know that you're in an environment where a lot of people might not understand you, so they expect you to be normal. They expect you to be like everybody else. And I don't want that. I don't want these beautiful kiddos to be like everybody else. Who? Bring me a model example of a neurotypical human being that doesn't have narcissism in them. That's not secretly a bad guy or a bad gal. Like, hey, society, like, who's representing you guys? You know what I mean? Like, I want to talk to your leader, because I'm here representing the special needs environment, the special needs crew, the special needs community. I want to speak to your neurotypical leader, please. I want to have a debate with your neurotypical leader. You guys tell me how you guys roll. You know what I mean? Because I don't see you guys having each other's backs. I don't see you guys, like, I don't know. So please don't make our children like be like that, you know, like they you guys got a lot of work to do, you know. No offense, sorry, I'm not trying to be, but I'm talking about just like, because of course there's neurotypical humans that are awesome, right? And a lot of them get into this field because they feel safe here. They, like me, like if I'm considered a neurotypical human being, I this is my environment. This is where I want to be. This is where somebody's going to understand me a little bit more than like out there where I'm not allowed to cry this many times, or you know, say like I'm having really strong anger emotions. Here in this community, we speak about angers. We speak about tantrums. We speak about, you know, verbal protest, and we accept it, we allow it. So now our job is to try and replace that with the more preferred behavior to teach the child skills, right? Coping skills exist for neurotypical human beings too, right? Coping skills. Like what do you do when you're stressed? Neurotypical environment. You guys, you know, probably meditate, do yoga, you know, you do what you can, right? Let's say for those who want a much more preferred behavior. Is it safe to say that there's a side of neurotypical humans that engage in worse behaviors? Let's say narcissistic behaviors like, I don't like the way I feel, so let me engage in making you feel worse. Like, I want to make sure that you're suffering because I'm not happy with myself. Something inside of me just doesn't feel right. I don't feel complete, or I'm angry all the time. So I want to go ahead and take this out on you to make you feel worse, because as soon as I see you feeling worse, I receive a stimulation within me, and that drug, that dopamine, I need that to survive. I if I can speak for part of my special needs environment, um, I've I've never met a neuro special needs person that their behaviors of hurting you were not to receive self stimulation. They were not to make themselves feel better about themselves. From what I'm observing, and this is what I really wish we can just record my daily life, but I can't for privacy. I won't even say real stories. I try to not. From my observation, this child or this adult under the spectrum did not engage in hitting, kicking, screaming, verbal abuse because they wanted to obtain a self stimulation, and that's how they were going to make that pressure go away. The kicking, screaming, verbal abuse, or property destruction was a result of what they're feeling, and it has nothing to do with the person in the receiving end of that. It that person just is the person that they trust the most to be able to do that around, or it's just a person that they probably don't trust at all. It just happens to be there, the teacher, but they, in that moment, they just were not able to hold that in. Does that make any sense? So we have a person with special needs that was not able to hold in that pressure that they feel, we're going to call it anger. They were not able to hold it in. Something made them angry, and they engaged in physical aggression, property destruction, or verbal protest, verbal abuse. A neurotypical person, what would be their reasoning for engaging in any of that? So a neurotypical person, they feel a very strong pressure of anger internally, and they verbally abuse someone else. My thought process in that is you wanted to hurt this person because I believe you do have the capability to understand that that person is deeply, deeply hurt by what you did. Not only do you have the capability of understanding, I feel in my heart like that was your goal. It was your goal to do that. And my theory is that you released some of your pressure, and it gave you stimulation, self stimulation. I, from what I observe, and I know I'm speaking subjectively, and we're not supposed to, but this is just a person under the spectrum. It's really challenging to convince, hey, you really, really hurt that person's feelings. You really hurt them by doing what you did. And there's huge debates on that. A lot of people, they say, no, no, no. This child or this adult is smart. They know that they're hurting the other person. That's why they're doing it. Okay? They're upset. Something made them upset. And they hurt somebody else. But in my heart, and so I'm just me, just me. And of course, the community that I want to build, I hope that in all of our hearts, we really don't think that their intention was to hurt this person to obtain a stimulation. It was more like they hurt that person to release some of the pressure. Does that make sense? So one of them is special needs, and one of them is a narcissistic human being. We all know what narcissists are, right? Like a narcissist, just a little part of a narcissist from like what I see in some people is like, wow, that person, you mean to tell me that that person loves you? How are you convinced that this person loves you? This person, if you observe their behaviors, I don't know. Or this person just like made you feel this horrible? Like this horrible? Like those are words that I've never seen or heard coming out of a special needs person. You know what I mean? Like those behaviors I don't see coming out of a special needs person. So yeah, so to me special needs humans, we have strong emotions, and we just have to learn the skills to replace behaviors that can come as a result of the emotions to preferred behaviors. So this applies to anyone. So that's the battle. That's the battle in this world, in this environment with, let's say, those in the field of ABA, those in the special education field, and then parents, right? We're all supposed to be a team, and we're all supposed to kind of have some understanding. Can I tell a parent, can I convince a parent that the autism will never go away? That there's a chance that even if, your child was able to learn math, and your child is actually an elite in math, but is really struggling with like reading comprehension. So now, the math the fact that they were able to learn math, and then the fact that they just are struggling in, let's say, reading comprehension, and the fact that every once in a while they have strong emotions. What does that tell a parent? Where does autism fall in that? Where do they belong? Do they belong in Gen Ed? Is there somebody in the field that can really answer those questions? Ask 5 BCBAs. You'll get 5 different answers. We're talking about 5 people that took the same exact test, that are in the same exact field. You will receive 5 different answers. So is there an answer? So that's why everything I say, I figured it out. Like, it's just what I observe. But I'm always gonna learn, right? Like, there's always room for learning. I don't ever want to stop learning. For now, my heart breaks when there's a child under the spectrum in Gen Ed. My heart breaks. I know parents there are some parents that want the child to learn behaviors from Gen Ed students, because the fear is, will they learn behaviors from special ed students? Behaviors like flapping their arms, squealing, things like that. I know that, humans fear like their child picking up, some habits like that. Well, that's why there's levels. We have the special day program, we have the alternate curriculum autism program, and then we have Gen Ed with services. Gen Ed with services would be the child goes to general education, and then these therapists pull the child out and give them classes separately in a separate room. Will they catch up to their Gen Ed students? What happens if they don't? I'm just gonna start saying scenarios. What happens if they're 2 years behind? So, I believe, from what I remember, because I think I've advocated for parents too for this assessment. So, from what I remember, they go and they observe this child in the outside play area setting. So they'll say what they want to observe. So I'm just gonna talk about this one, okay? If every throw in 5 rec therapists in a room and you'll get 5 different answers. So let me give you one of their answers. One of them told me that what she looks for is she goes outside and she observes the child to see how they interact with their peers. If their peers invite them to play, what is their response? Are they playing alone? What do they do when the teachers bring out a whole bunch of balls? Can they follow their peers' instructions? So then they'll manipulate, right? They'll try to test and see, hey, how about you ask, so-and-so to play? Okay, hey, so-and-so, can you play with us? Well, explain to so-and-so what you're playing. We're playing hopscotch. Can you explain this game to so-and-so? Yes, you jump on the little squares, you throw the sack. I forgot how to play hopscotch. And they're noting down what the child does. Did the child understand what they were saying? Did the child just, they went for it, they just threw themselves in there? What did they do? You cannot say if the child understood what they were saying. You can write down, you have to write objective notes. So you can say the child then followed the student, grabbed the sack, threw it on the square, and proceeded with hopping on the squares as instructed. You can say that. You can't
No,
say
it's
they
cake.
understood. You can sideline come to the conclusion like, oh, okay, I guess they understood, but you have
No,
to
it's real.
note down exactly what you're seeing, and you can't see, you know, somebody understanding unless
No, it's cake.
their emotions give you that conclusion. Sorry, I just so so that's what they do. Uh, yeah, but
No, it's real.
socially, does somebody are you there 24/7 to know
It's
if the
cake.
child is being socially
Yes,
manipulated?
it's cake.
Does it exist that a
No,
person
it's
under
real.
under the spectrum will give up their snacks to their peers because the little listito kid that realizes that you are a snack giver has asked you for your snack every day, and then if you don't give it to them, is it safe to say that they can say, if you don't give me your snack, I won't be your friend anymore? Yeah, that
No,
possibility
it's
exists,
real.
right? So if that possibility exists and that can happen to a child under the spectrum
No, it's cake.
who's in a gen ed environment,
No,
like
it's real.
who's in charge of that, you know?
Real.
So it's, yeah, I don't know. It's
No, it's
I don't know
cake.
my point now anymore.
No, it's
Sorry, my
cake.
son's a little bit throwing me off.
Cake.
I just wanted to start making videos. Like, as soon as I start thinking
No,
of something,
it's real.
I'm just gonna start making videos. Just if you can pick up something
Cake.
from it, or if maybe when I watch them, usually like I'll take
No,
mental notes
it's
and I'll
real.
think, okay, on the next video, I'm gonna elaborate on this part, or I'll just make a whole new video talking about, you know, the next thing. But my main thing is I wanted to just share a little bit of what autism is to me, and tell you that to me, I really wish that there was a better world out there for all of our children under the spectrum.
No,
I
it's
do
real.
not feel in my heart that the Los Angeles Unified School District really is understanding a lot of these children.
It's cake.
They want them to somehow survive in this environment, and
Cake.
I don't know. I'm seeing a whole lot of things that I just
No,
can't
it's real.
stomach. I can't stomach it. Parents, I understand you completely. I hope nobody felt judged. I I was there too, and I'm not saying like
It's real.
because this happened to me and I came to some understanding that my son now has a learning disability. He just recently got diagnosed where they were like, I think it's safe to say that
It's real.
that diagnosis is not like it's not one of the frontline diagnoses. You know what I mean? Like, so we could not. I'm paraphrasing, but at this point, for me and my son, my goal is to create a world that understands him, that understands me, an environment where there's a lot of positivity, angers that I've seen adults and children feel. The primary goal for me is to replace some of those feelings with feelings of happiness. And I fear that there are those who want to replace those feelings with them behaving themselves because so that society, so that they're not, so that they're accepted in society. Is it safe to say that that can exist? That Okay, let me give you another example. Sorry, I probably should just make another video to not bore you. Is it safe to say that sometimes you notice a person under the spectrum in a teenage body, but you know that their, let's say, their hearts are still very childlike? What do you think about what do you think about this? Let's say there are some who want to condition them to behave like a neurotypical person with that same body type, who's, let's say, 13 years old. Will a neurotypical 13-year-old junior high boy go down a slide at a park? Let's just say, like, would get to a park, see the slides and the swings, jump up and down, clapping their hands, saying, "Mom, mom, mom, I want to go there." A 13-year-old Gen Ed neurotypical junior high kid. So, let's just pretend that there are some whose belief is, let's take these three special needs teenagers and teach them how to behave like the 13-year-old Gen Ed neurotypical junior high kid. There's some who want that. So this team that I speak to you of, ABA, special education, and parents, there are some who want that. They want their 13-year-old special needs child to behave like a 13-year-old Gen Ed junior high neurotypical human. So I'm trying to condition myself to accept that. But personally, me, no. I what I want is, I want to build a school where those 13-year-old special needs teenagers are free to swing whenever they want, slide whenever they want. If they still want to hold their security blankets, their security bears, it's okay. It's very, very, very okay. Here in my world, an adult can do that, and that does not bother me, not one bit. I have my little quirks that help me cope with life, or just make me happy. Little things make me happy. And yeah, I don't want to condition these children. I don't want to take their childlike heart. I don't want to. But it's challenging. Some people do want to, and it's really challenging. But I won't. That's what a parent really wants. I'll try to hang in there as much as I can, and I'll help in any way I can, but I suffer a lot when I face things like that. So that's why I decided to start this organization and create a world where hopefully, that same parent is like, it's in, like, I've been thinking about it, like, you're right, like, I'll just be here with you in your world. Yeah, so I don't know. the important thing is, it's just, let's love our children. Let's be there for them. Please, I'm begging you, please try and understand them. Just know that there's a lot of us who accept your child as is, and we have to alter the environment in order for the child to succeed. We all have to be a team. Everybody has to put in their part. Let's not torture the child to be normal. Oh, yeah. I hope I said something. But yeah, so I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Animos, we're all in this together. For whoever's watching this, it's probably because you're probably in the same position as I am, as a lot of us, in this environment. I want to be that hope, or that those prayers answered one day. We're working really, 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 really hard. Always please send us prayers. They go a long way. Yeah, and I'll be sharing a lot more stories about, my journey. I think I'm ready for it now. But yeah. Alright, have a great day, and I'll see you guys next video.